Everywhere burst few hours ago as Dele Farotimi finally scattered prison few hours ago. It was few days ago that they actually arrested Dele Farotimi and they put him in jail and all of that, and they refused to grant his bail. As far as Dele Farotimi is concerned, they locked him up based on the fact that he speak the truth to power and he speak the truth the way it is to Nigerian government and all of that. Now, Afeba Babalola finally put him in jail, and I say that's not enough. The same Dele Farotimi finally burst prison few hours ago. Prison shake few hours ago. Emotional moment as prisoners shed tears. Moment Dele Farotimi turned pastor in prison, and what he said actually make a lot of prisoners to go emotional and shed tears few hours ago. Even in prison, this man still come out to say the truth regarding what is happening in Nigeria. Or you will hear everything in this very video. I would like guys to stay connected to the end of this video. If you can share the video, just do well to share it. Share it on various social media platforms. Let it go viral, and if you can share it, just like it as you're watching it. Like it, give it a thumb up so that it will be recommended for us. The truth cannot be silent. Just stay connected. I'll come back again.
Welcome you back to LAJUPOG TV.
I don't have bad news for you today.
The home of religious gossip.
But you should leave the fight for Mohammed.
What is happening in the Christendom? Join now. It makes sense with LAJUPOG.
Hello my great and wonderful viewers, welcome back to LAJUPOG TV. For those of you coming across this channel for the very first time, just do to click the red subscription button appearing on your video screen, and at the same time click the notification bell icon so that whenever we drop a new video in few hours time regarding what is happening in the political space, YouTube will easily let you to know. Now Kasala boss few hours ago in prison. It's no more the news that Dele Farotimi was arrested based on the truth that he know how to speak on media and all of that. This man have always been known to come out to say the truth to power. He's not scared of anyone. He's always this kind of person that he always making known to the general public that he's not scared of even death himself and all. That it is only once that a man will die, that after once nothing will happen again. That the government can only kill his body, but they can't do anything with his soul. That's all. So this man will always say the truth the way it is. Now, few days ago, they actually arrested him for defamation, and we saw the video where police actually invaded his facility, his office, and all. How police from Ekiti State actually invaded his office in Lagos, and they took him down to Ekiti just to go and face charges and all. And I say that's not enough. Afeba Babalola do everything possible so that they will not grant his bail, but Kasala boss few hours ago in prison. Prison shake few hours ago. Emotional moment for prisoners. Prisoners never expected that Dele Farotimi can come this way. They never see him coming. Kasala boss in prison. Dele Farotimi turned pastor in prison few hours ago. They never see this coming. They never expected that this man can still come out in prison to still say the truth to power. Come and see the way prisoners were shedding tears few hours ago. I'll play the full video in this very video. You will see everything the way it goes. I would like guys to stay connected to the end of this video. If you can share the video, just do what to share it as you're watching it. Share to different social media platforms. Let it go viral, and if you can share just like it as you're watching it, like the video, give it a thumb up so that it will be recommended for all. Let a lot of people get to know what is happening as far as Dele Farotimi case is concerned. Let a lot of people get to know what Nigerian government and what Nigerian power holders are doing at the moment. Now, Dele Farotimi have always known in different media platforms. They invite him to channels, they invite him to Arise TV, they invite him to Sahara Reporter and all of that to always come out to say what he knows about Nigeria government and all. And this man is always known to say the truth. He will always go against the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He usually call it the government of the day. They say Nigerian government is one of the most corrupt government as far as the world is concerned. And if care is not taken, Nigeria will sink down. This man, you can check his video on media. You will see a lot of his videos that he have made regarding the corruption state of Nigeria, regarding every of the atrocities that Tinubu, the shenanigans and the rascality of the cabinet of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and even the previous cabinet of Buhari. This man never reneged. He always come out to say the truth. Now, he spoke the truth regarding the judicial system of Nigeria. That was what caused the issue a few days ago. He said the truth to power and even wrote a book regarding the corrupt system of Nigeria judiciary, because it's normally known that Nigeria judiciary is the most corrupt judiciary as far as the world is concerned, whether we like it or not. Let's say the truth the way it is. Even without Dele Farotimi saying it, Nigeria judiciary, obviously the corruption there is nothing to write home about. The corruption there is top notch, and it has have even got it to a level that common man cannot even see justice as far as the Nigerian judiciary is concerned. The Nigerian judicial system is not the last hope of the common man. That's what is happening. It is when you have your money that you will see justice. That's what is happening. That's what Dele Farotimi have been making known to the general public. Now, Kasala boss, they arrested him for defamation. They said he defamed Tony Enumelu, the founder of UBA Bank, and at the same time he defamed Afe Babalola because he wrote it in his book. He wrote the atrocities in his book, and I see that it's not enough. The moment they arrested him for defamation and they took him from Lagos to Ekiti, that was when his book began to sell in Amazon. His book became the bestseller in Amazon, and I see that it's not enough. They said he needs to give out all the royalty of the book that is selling in Amazon. He needs to give it to Afe Babalola. That's the case they dragging in court, and I see that it's not enough. This man that always come out to say the truth, when they wanted to take him to court, they handcuff him. But in the case of Yaya Bello, that stole more than 80 billion naira, they did not handcuff him to court. Even when they went to court to face charges, they did not handcuff Yaya Bello. But they say Yaya Bello is reportedly granted bail of 500 million naira after stealing 80 billion naira. That's what is happening in the Nigeria system, and I say that it's not enough. Dele Farotimi that they not steal any money, that they only accused of saying the truth and all of that, they did not grant him bail. That's what they're saying. This man is still engaging in prison, but prison shake few hours ago. That's the video I want to play to you now, because I'm going to be playing the video now. For those of you that have not seen the video, come and see the way prisoners were actually shedding tears. Come and see the way prisoners were going emotional, and the moment Dele Farotimi actually turned pastor in prison, they never see this coming. Now, if you can share the video, just do well to share it. This man is trending at the moment, and if you can share the video, just like it, give the thumb up, stay connected, watch the video to the end. Come and see how prisoners were actually shedding tears in an emotional moment of Dele Farotimi preaching. Just stay connected. I'll come back again.
So it became clear to me that this illusion that forces us to keep postponing needs to be challenged. But our own situation as a people, or urgent attention, not reactions. Reactions come about when things happen and you quickly run away. Maybe somebody shoots a banger in here now, so we all react. You don't plan for reactions. You simply do what comes natural to you in that moment. But responses, on the other hand, are slightly different. Responses means that you have enough time to plan what you should do. At least you have sufficient time to act without panic and in a reasonable or reasoned manner, regardless of the situation that you are confronted with. I'll bring all of this to our scripture, because how does this concern us as a people? The totality of my life's focus is about securing a future for the Nigerian child, my own. Is completely selfish. I don't know you, but I know the children that I have at home. I know all the other children that are connected to me in one way or the other, and I look at that future and I am scared. So I looked at the totality of our situation, and this scripture came to mind. It was the story of the lepers that came to mind, because I found it disturbingly analogous to the Nigerian situation, even though we sometimes do not seem to realize just how much our situation is analogous to that in that story. We are the lepers. Let me let that sink in. We are the lepers in that story. If you notice, I didn't say I am. I didn't say you are. I said we are the lepers. Nobody is born leprous. Leprosy is acquired after birth. I know you all tell yourself one very common lie. The commonest lie in Nigeria is your claim to citizenship. You tell yourselves that you are citizens, but it is a lie. It is only those who enjoy the immunity of impunity that are capable of enjoying Nigeria. If you do not have impunity, the capacity to live above the ambit of the law, you are a leper. Lepers were taken before the court in Abuja. Just, I think, a couple of days ago. Or was that yesterday? No, it was on Friday. They took lepers to a court in Abuja. And you know by law, if you go to the book of Leviticus, lepers are treated as being separate. Because if they were not separate, they should have equal access to justice. And I am sure that nobody should be required to tell a judge who is sworn to protect the weak that those are citizens, if they were citizens. Once upon a time, there was the delusion of citizenship in Nigeria, and that was before the leprosy of immunity or impunity meant that those who should be above the law are within the city gates. They are inside the city limits. Inside, they are in the city. The lepers, they were at the gate. Those are the ones excluded by society. And if you thought that was all, I'll remind you that those who were killed at Lekki Toll Gate, they were also lepers. That is why the society has continued to pretend that they did not exist, in spite of a judicial pronouncement of a massacre. So, lepers. The theme of leprosy, I know it might sound shocking to you, but the reality is that what makes the Nigerian a leper is the fact that he is excluded. The only thing that includes everybody is the rule of law. When the law does not rule, when you have exceptions, those exceptions can only be explained by something. Okay. If we ask ourselves, exactly what is the effect of leprosy? One of the first things that you notice with leprosy is that the leper's digits begins to fall off. So his capacities becomes limited. He can't even, Yorubas have a proverb, they say, abere bolo adete odete. It means that the needle fell off from the leprous finger, and now he has no way of picking it up. So it becomes a quandary. That is the situation with the Nigerian. You go abroad, you are separated. They separate you at airports. Within Nigeria, the policeman looks at you like our dishonorable mascot. He looked at a boat driver. The average boat driver in Nigeria is a university graduate. 90% of the boat and Uber drivers in Nigeria, if not more, are university graduates or dropouts who could no longer afford to go to school because the system simply failed them. And then a person who says that he's a sworn representative, and you know the beauty of that situation. For a long time, lepers have had difficulties in identifying themselves in Nigeria. You have the lepers of Yoruba Ronu, who thinks is different from the lepers of Biafra. And then you have the lepers of Katsina, the Fulani peasant, who you will blame for all the woes of the South. So the lepers have had difficulties identifying themselves, and they have been busy fighting in the army of their enslavers. Now, mascot who assaulted the boat driver is Igbo. In the hierarchy of Nigerian impunity, the Igbo man is the lowest in that hierarchy, unfortunately so, but that is the reality. If that guy, mascot, if he was an Hausa or a Fulani man, we would not be united in condemnation of his evil. We would have been distracted by his ethnicity or religiosity, and we would have been debating that. If the king of Nigeria, who is sat within the city limit in Aso Rock, were to be a man from the Delta when they brought the lepers to court in Abuja on Friday, Arewa would have gone crazy. But we have Muslim. Nobody can preach about it, and everybody is suddenly silent. Let me say this. When we allow ourselves to ignore the fact that everything we hate, we also fear, then it becomes easy to recruit us into the armies of our oppressors to begin to fight on behalf of those who have enslaved all of us. I'll show you. A few months ago, a certain cross-dresser in this town was arrested for spraying money. There are numerous videos online where you find obas, politicians, governors, even presidents, ex-presidents spraying money. But of course, EFCC is not meant for the like of them. It is the lepers that the EFCC must find. And of course, who is more leprous than the one who does not look like you? So we were all pressed into service in 18 Bobrisky to the point where we ignored that the law that was enforced against him is ignored in relation to others. Bobrisky, which is a paradox for Nigeria, the country we have all built, was now meant to go to jail. But of course, since the jail in Nigeria is meant for the poor and the weak, Bobrisky was able to assess the levels of injustice that is available to non-lepers. So he equalized with money. And then you begin this hypocritical belly aching that has run from the bowels of the disgraceful National Assembly, and they are having all kind of circuses, and we are all entertained, and we ignore that if it was available to the person we don't like, in relation to which we are now bleating, it was available to the murderers who could afford it. It was available to the armed robbers who could afford it. It was available to the kidnapper who could afford it. It was available to each and every one of the persons who could either afford it or who are members of the non-leprous class, whom the class is punishing and are sent to Kirikiri or other correctional or in-correctional centers. The important thing that we all need to understand in this case is that there is a commonality to this affliction that we forget when we convince ourselves to embrace the hatred by which we have been divided. Who are the Syrians? At least, I think by around verse 5, they start telling us about how the Syrians' tents were there. So, who are the Syrians? The Syrians are your fears. The Syrians are the hatreds. All the things that you have used to divide yourselves, those are the Syrians. Everything that we desire as a collective, because I doubt that there is anything the Yoruba wants that the Igbo man does not want, or that the Ijaw man does not want, or that the Fulani man would dislike. We all want the same thing, but we are failing to see the commonalities. The Syrians represent our fears. Everything we desire is at the other side of our fears. Your fears also encapsulate your hatred. Like I said earlier on, it is impossible to love something and hate it. But you cannot ever fear anyone or thing without hating that thing. It is only God that you may fear. And I say this, myself and Daddy have had this discussion before. The proper word is not fear. You don't fear God. You reference him. is referential awe. Respect, deep respect for his capacities, because it comes from you knowing him. You know what he can do, so you respect, venerate him. You don't fear God. It is reference, not in the fear of you are trembling. Even if you tremble before God, it's out of reference, not out of fear of injury. So let us be clear that everything that we seek is at the other side of our fears, of our hatred. If you look at 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7, to be specific, that's 2 Timothy it says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. You know, it is impossible for you to have the soundness of your mind and embrace hatred. It is impossible. It is simply impossible. If you have retained the soundness of your mind, the only thing that might happen to you when you are confronted with a phenomenon is curiosity. You are curious. That's why you see Oyibo, when they run into something strange, they want to capture that thing, they want to study it. You know what we will do? If we are not casting and binding, we are finding the kumo with which we will kill that thing, because we are fearful. We have embraced the spirit of fear, and that spirit of fear also predisposes us to hatred. So anything that does not look like us, we are afraid of it. And we cover our fear with the veneer of hatred, because it's easier to confess hatred than to confess ignorance. The average person that you are hating on, whether it's the Yoruba Ponu faction of our country, whether it's the Arewa supremacist, whether it's the Biafran must go, whoever you are in Nigeria, our problems are the same. Exactly the same. It is in now recognizing that these problems are the same that we can now form alliances that leads us out of where we are. If you've ever seen ants, thank you. When you see ants in floods, when there are floods, you find that ants build bridges. They knot themselves together, they join together to build bridges, and then others will climb on top of them and they all cross. And I did a social experiment in my house. I asked my wife to witness it one day. You know, when you see column of ants, and I can be a very curious person in spite of my age, I'm still a child. So I picked up a lighter one day and I burnt them. I'm sorry to confess, may God forgive me. I look at us, especially we Nigerians, and even more particularly our siblings, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers who live in the diaspora. I sometimes hear them complaining about the racism in the countries in which they reside. And I am amazed that they could simply not recognize that the racist is merely the superior cousin of the tribalist. If you cannot accommodate the Igbo in your space, or you could not accommodate the Yoruba in your space, or you think the Fulani man is your problem, how do you say anything about the racist? The racist at least has the excuse of skin pigmentation. Who's your own? So the biggest problem of the lepers would appear to be an inability to recognize themselves. Now, they didn't tell us that the lepers went in different direction. The scripture is clear. Although some scriptures, some Bible students will tell us that these were the children of Geas and his children. But it still does not explain the fact that they found the grace to act in concert. They moved as one. Two did not say, let's go into the city. They didn't remember this. In spite of the fact that they were lepers, they were not stopped from entering the city. They could have entered. So because you are carrying a Nigerian passport does not mean you are a Nigerian citizen. They could enter the city. They simply could not enjoy the privileges of others. So let's be clear, you can enter the city as Nigerian, you have your NIN, you even have BVN, you carry your passport. In fact, they asked you to go to your local government to get confirmation of your leprosy, and you did. Oh, sorry, your citizenship, and you did. So the only problem is that the lepers are not recognizing themselves. And you know what makes the situation even worse for the lepers? You can't vote your way out of your leprosy. Okay, you don't believe me? Go and ask the people who pretended to vote in Edo, and they will tell you what their experiences were. So in case you forgot the lessons learned in February 2023, I remember I was here and I urged all of you to register to vote. We did all of that, remember? And you should get you remember now we said it that we did all of that, but of course we didn't. Even I was unaware of the fact of my leprosy. See, the fact of our situation is that everything that we desire is on the other side of our fear. That your fear and the hatred you sometimes harbor, they're twins. If you would instead focus on the fact that the things you desire for yourself is no different from what the next person desires for themselves, even though there might be slight variations, we can at least agree on a raft of things that are common to all of us. I am sure that when the mascot of impunity, I'm sure that part of his campaign, because I think he's an APGA representative, he even had one came picture next to him on his poster. Our brother Ikemba, may God rest his soul. Ikemba was gracing his campaign poster. Ikemba was right there. But did he ask the ethnic affiliation of the boat driver? He did not. Our ethnicities do not matter to our oppressors. The fact of our leprosy only matters to us. They don't care. They are above it. You know, when you say you are above principalities and powers, they are above leprosy. We are the ones who need to get it into our heads that all the things that we are using to divide ourselves do not divide those who have divided us and who are the ones profiting from where we are. But I can tell you all about the fact that we are the lepers. I can tell you all about the fact that the Syrians are our fears. I could even make an effort and say to you that the king and those within the city are those who are enjoying the impunity that we have spoken about. But it does not bring the urgency of now into focus. After my friend passed on, a Yoruba song kept rising up in my spirit, and it wouldn't leave. So from time to time, I will sing it, and don't worry, I'm not going to attempt to do anything like what your choir did. And it's most definitely not a Christian song, but it's a godly song, because it does preach directly from the scriptures. It says, "Ṣèyí tó ṣe ọ̀rẹ́ mi ọjọ́ ń lọ. Ṣèyí tó ṣe ọ̀rẹ́ mi ọjọ́ ń lọ, èyí tó bá ṣe là ó ròyìn. Ṣèyí tó ṣe ọ̀rẹ́ mi ọjọ́ ń lọ." I would interpret for you. He says, do what you will, for time is far gone. That's all he's saying. Ṣèyí tó ṣe ọjọ́ ń lọ. We can stay in our state of leprosy until we die. And then our children will inherit it. And you know the amazing thing about this sickness? Daddy even alluded to it when he was speaking earlier on. He said, truth dies in darkness. When a lie endures for so long and the sufferers become complicit in the erection and maintenance of that lie can actually become the truth in the consciousness of the victims. So each and every one of you, I'm speaking to you as my fellow lepers. I recognize the fact of my leprosy. I'm a Nigerian. That's why I'm always careful to explain that I'm not a citizen. I'm a victim of Nigeria. It is the grace of God that has kept one from the grave up till this point. 6 years ago, almost to the exact day, I was sent to prison by a court in this country for life, in the service of a church in this city. But the grace of God is what has kept me here, and I was freed. No, hold on, please. The point I'm trying to make to all of us is this. If we do not recognize the fact of the commonality of our victimhood, if you continue to think that those who voted Bulaba deserve their punishment and you don't want anything to do with them, you can't even bring yourself to show mercy to them as Christians, how do you bring yourself together to fight the evil? Okay, so you know the truth, but they are so ignorant because they have embraced hatred that they do not know the truth. How have you, as Christians, shown them the truth? I know it's actually very annoying, especially if you live in this neighborhood. This is Okota. Yeah. A vast majority of my Oriental brothers and sisters live in this neighborhood. You have borne the brunt of the madness that has overtaken our country. And you will see more. As we are drawing closer, because for them the election cycle has started. The election cycle has nothing to do with your votes. They don't care. They've written the result already. But having written the result, they need you to now begin to divide yourselves. You need to be told to ignore the pains in your bellies, the hunger. You must forget it. And for you to forget it, they must give you hatred to embrace. And I saw a piece in the paper, I think sometime this past week, and I know that they have started the race. You know what I saw? Arome Felodun local government published a list of streets they were renaming in Ajegunle. And I saw how they are attempting to whitewash history and pretend that there is certain ethnic group do not exist in that neighborhood. And I laughed. But I also know that it will require the complicity of good men and women who elect to embrace hatred for that madness to endure. I have lived in the Lekki axis for at least about 22 years. I have been associated with that axis for over 30 years. I know the area well. The names on our streets, and I'm just using this to illustrate so that you understand the insidious nature of the evil that has overtaken our country. The names on the streets in the entirety of the Lekki Peninsula, I don't know about other parts of Lagos State, they came about in a specified manner. Lekki was a swamp, a vast swamp. It was only the express that had any solidity to it. And they were selling land, and my Oriental brothers and sisters came. They would buy land in swamps, and then they would build roads with rubbles, and then they will bring transformer, and then they will build a street gate, and other people will be encouraged by the reason of their presence to come and start building on their own plots. And then the way you name streets, you take an application to the traditional ruler that the street be named after you. The traditional ruler and his secretary will verify your contribution to the neighborhood you are asking to be named after you. Almost every name you see decorating any street in Lekki, particularly the entirety of the greater Lekki Peninsula, they were men who either built roads or bought transformers. They were the first, they were the pioneers. Those who are today turning around and making it seem as if these things came by accident and they were on hand in an attempt to turn brothers against brothers for reason of political validation, they require you to forget that you are commonly lepers. May God cure all of us of our leprosy, but it does not change the fact that Nigeria has inflicted leprosy on those who should be citizens. Our afflictions are common to us. What do? I believe that in the coming days, weeks, and months, we must, as a collective, begin to find common purpose and set out what it is that we believe should happen to us as a people, and then stand behind our demands. They have children sent to correctional centers and facilities across the country. Parents are sat mostly unconcerned. A lot do not even know that this is in any way connected to them. But the reality is that tomorrow is actually quite gloomy if you took very good look at where we are today. There is a urgency of now. That urgency does not allow us to outsource the resolution of these problems to a future generation. There is nobody coming to save us. The Americans won't save us. Get that clear. They benefit from this. Neither will the British. They've even tried to do you 419 now. They have a Yoruba sounding person heading the conservatives. It's all a scam. They need to bring what they are losing in Europe. They need to bring it out of the Commonwealth. So everything that has happened to us, you will not hear any one of the beneficiaries speak on our behalf. Have you heard any condemnation from the European Union? Have you heard anything from Britain? Have you heard anything from America? A long time ago, we were busy naming streets after American diplomats, thinking that salvation was coming from abroad. Salvation is not coming from abroad. I also assure you that Daddy will lead you in prayers, but we also need to act. Without acting, prayers are, I'm sorry to say, useless. God will do what God will do, but men must do what men will do. And in our own case, if we stay here, we perish. It's not really just Bible speak, it's the reality. Our situation is dire. We need to find the commonalities of our affliction and then find common ground and common purpose.
Thank you for staying connected, my great and wonderful viewers. You can see what is happening in Nigeria. You can see everything that Dele Farotimi actually said. You know, this man was arrested. You know, this man had been saying the truth even from the regime of Buhari. He will always come out. This man is a lawyer and is a qualified lawyer, but he's no more practicing law because he believed that Nigerian judicial system is not good enough for him to be practicing law. And when he was practicing law, he actually stopped a lot of atrocities from the judicial system, and he pulled a lot of people in their places, including judges and lawyers. This man had always been known to be saying the truth. Even in the last election, Dele Farotimi actually pulled his support for Peter Obi, and at the same time one leg with Omoyele Sowore. That was what happened because he believed that these two people are the only competent people as far as Nigeria is concerned. That was what Dele Farotimi did, and he made it known to the general public that there is who he is supporting is always coming out to support the truth. Now they invaded his office. Police came from Ekiti State. They came to Lagos to come and arrest him What a temerity. Those are the questions that people are asking. They did not even press the charge to the Lagos State Police Command. It was even from Ekiti that they came to arrest him, and they carry him down to Ekiti. Do you know the distance from Lagos to Ekiti is up to 7 hours, and they carry him down to Ekiti, and as if that is not enough, they prosecuted him. They said he spoke against Afe Babalola and even Tony Enumelu at the moment. Now it is even Afe Babalola that is pressing the charges against Dele Farotimi, and I said that's not enough. They said they're not granting him bail. Now Dele Farotimi was taken to court due to defamation on Afe Babalola because he wrote in his book. That book is the bestseller in Amazon at the moment. Now he wrote in the book that atrocities that Afe Babalola actually commit, that the atrocity is very, very enormous and all of that. Now Afe Babalola took it to court and he pressed charges on Dele Farotimi, and I said that's not enough. When they were taking Dele Farotimi to court, they handcuffed him. They put handcuff in his hand just for everybody to see it, just for everybody to see the shame and all of that. But Yaya Bello, that stole 80 billion naira from Kogi State Treasury, the former governor of Kogi State, he stole more than 80 billion naira according to the EFCC and all of that. And the EFCC refused to arrest him ever since then. And Yaya Bello never left Nigeria. He was in Nigeria and they refused to arrest him. And I said that's not enough. They added a lot of drama. But now recently they said they arrest Yaya Bello. Now they took Yaya Bello to court. Yaya Bello was even going to court smiling. They did not even put handcuff in his hand. Someone that stole 18 billion naira. Do you know how much 80 billion naira cost? Someone stole 80 billion naira. A thief will remain a thief. Whether you stole it from the fact that you are a governor or you are a public officer or you carry a gun to steal it, a thief will remain a thief. A robber will remain a robber. Now a thief was carried to court, and as if that's not enough, they did not put handcuff in his hand. Yaya Bello went to court laughing, no handcuff, and the person that did not even steal, they handcuff him as if he's a hijack criminal, he's a notorious criminal. That's what Nigerian government is at the moment. That's what Nigerian secret operative are doing, and that's what Nigerian judicial system have turned into. Now they handcuff him, they refuse to handcuff Yaya Bello. Now the report came in yesterday that they granted Yaya Bello 500 million naira bail. That was what we heard yesterday. 500 million naira bill. So someone stole over 80 billion naira. We did not even know maybe they collect the money from him or not. We did not hear the report. But they granted him bail of 500 million naira. Now, someone that did not even steal anything, they refused to grant his bail. Now, he's still languishing in prison. He's still in detention. They still put Dele Farotimi in jail. Now, you can hear everything that is said in prison. This man refused to bow down to the prayer that the government are actually giving him because they never actually wanted him to be released. Though a lot of people are actually protesting. They're protesting that Dele Farotimi must be released with immediate effect. And a lot of people came out, they said Dele Farotimi case is not a public case. That is a private case, it's a personal case, that is even Afe Babalola that is pressing charges against him. Now, the question people are asking is, which Afe Babalola is pressing charges against him? Is it not glaring that a lot of people in the political space are even involved in the case underneath? That's what people are asking. That's the question people are asking. Why are they still keeping Dele Farotimi in detention? What did this man say that is not the truth? Those are the questions that a lot of people are actually asking now. They put him in detention, but he refused to compromise on the truth. He's still saying it today. You can even hear it in the video that I just finished watching. He's still even saying that the truth will remain the truth, that he will continue to say the truth, that the truth cannot die. If you like, poof him. If you like, take his life. He said the truth will still remain the truth. Now, it was even when they arrested Dele Farotimi that his book began to sell on Amazon, and I said that's not enough. This man began to trend on media. He began to trend on different media platforms because they believe that they should arrest him, he will be silent and nobody will hear about him again. But the moment they arrest him, that's what is happening. Even some agitators that are agitating for Biafra or Oduduwa, the moment you just arrest those agitators, they begin to trend. Those are the things that is happening in Nigeria, and the same thing is applicable to Dele Farotimi. When someone is saying the truth and you think you can silence the person by arresting the person or trying to prosecute the person or put the person in jail, that is when the person will be trending. That's when the person will be shining everywhere. Everybody will be hearing the person. Everybody will be looking at or looking into what the person has said that make you to arrest him. Now, Dele Farotimi is trending. The moment they arrested him, that was when he began to trend. His videos on media platforms like YouTube is now entering thousands of views and all of that. And his book in Amazon became the bestseller in Amazon. A lot of people are buying the book and they checking into the book that he wrote against Afe Babalola and against Nigeria judicial system. They saw everything that he wrote, and people are saying that what this man wrote is the truth, that the truth will always remain the truth. That's what is happening. Now a lot of people are protesting that they should release this man, and the moment people are protesting, they even pressing charges on the fact that his book that is selling on Amazon, that his royalty should be seized. Those are the charges that they're pressing against him at the moment. They said the royalty of those books should be seized. That's to tell you that he will not get any money from the book. That's what they're trying to do. Now his book is selling at the moment. You can hear everything that he actually said regarding the Nigerian judicial system and regarding the Nigerian governmental system and regarding Nigerian politicians in the video that I just finished watching. That was an emotional moment in prison, and prisoners couldn't even hold their tears. Now drop your opinion regarding everything that is happening regarding the case of Dele Farotimi. Just compare the case of Dele Farotimi to the case of Yaya Bello. Yaya Bello wasn't handcuffed and was granted bail of 500 million after stealing 80 billion naira. But this man, Dele Farotimi, never stole anything, and they refused to grant his bail, and they even handcuffed him to court. Drop your opinion. What do you think is happening as far as Nigeria governmental system is concerned? Feel free, see your mind in the comment section. As I'm gonna do to get another thing for you, and sure you follow me on my social media handles on Facebook at LAJUPOG Watch TV, at LAJUPOG Entertainment, and on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at LAJUPOG. Guess what, guys? See you in my next video. Bye for now. Happy Christmas, Narrios.
I see the hot for my body, I say make I yarn you. Religious gossip plenty day for body. Pastor with the line on top, he pastor. For LAJUPOG Watch TV. Pastor with the back, where? Politician with the do pass himself. Leader, all the while you waiting for church. All as LAJUPOG Watch TV.